Oh, lost you.
Lost you there, but we're back on. We're back on.
We're back. Well, Danny Green, Mr. A.K. Scott Morrison, the next Prime Minister of Australia. Welcome to episode 6 of The Lockdown. How you been, buddy?
Good, Fonz. How are you, champion?
Mate, struggling like everyone else. Just ISO struggling at the moment. I saw your post about half an hour ago about the people at Manly. You posted about the people at Manly?
Yeah. So, a buddy sent me a photo this morning. It was on a fucking story in the paper, Manly Beach, and it was summer, like they didn't have a care in the world.
Yeah. Mate, it's just those people at Manly way. They've got problems like that. Call out to Andy Boorman. He's from Manly. It's just that type of people, mate. They don't listen to the law. Andrew Boorman. Hi, mate.
He's no good, mate. Get rid of him.
Get rid of him? Yeah, get rid of him. Get rid of all the fucking Manly. How you been, mate? What's been happening?
Good, buddy. They wouldn't have that problem down in Coogee way, mate.
No, we listen to the law. We are law-abiding citizens. Yeah. As I always tell you, we stay inside our houses and get bored as fuck and fat as fuck. So it's working. How's your training holding up?
Yeah, not bad, Fonz. Just I'm pretty lucky, mate. I've got the gym downstairs that I've had for a long time. So I've got my bags. I got everything I need. I got a treadmill. So I'm lucky, mate. I got everything I need down there. So nothing really changes because I train down there all the time. So it's not really new to me. It's where we all train. But I'm on my own now. I'm just my boy and me. And then Nina's getting down there a little every now and then. She jumping the treadie and getting into the swing of things. But yeah, we're just fucking bored, mate. But it is what it is. You just got to. We're all in the same boat, and we've been listening to this social isolating and distancing, etc. We've been doing it for I haven't done Archie in school for over 2.5 weeks. So and we're lucky to be able to have him at home. So people who disrespect this pandemic, they're making it treacherous for everyone.
Yes.
People should just fucking listen and not be such tools and put everyone else at risk. It's not hard.
But believe it or not, you're not going to beat the government, and just do what you have to do, mate. In the end of the day, it's they want you to do it. Just fucking do it, so we get over and done with. I'm not a firm believer in how bad it is, but in saying that, I don't want to take a risk either. And if the law said that this is what's got to happen, then fucking do it. How hard is it? Yeah, we're all doing it together. It's not like someone's getting off.
Sitting at home drinking straight vodka straight from the bottle.
Mate, we'll go into that very soon because I'm drinking bloke in a bar. Not a bad drop. I got told about it yesterday. It's a good fucking drop.
Well,
I'll have one for you, mate.
Listen to that.
We'll talk about that later for sure. This is a major topic on this show. Mate, how's everything else? How's my training partner Archie? How's he doing?
He's good, buddy. I said, what are you doing, Dad? And because I was getting the crunch to boot on, and he goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing a podcast." He goes, "Who with?" I said, "Do it with Fiddy." I said, "For Darren." He goes, "Hey, Fiddy." I went, "Yeah, Fiddy." Oh yeah, cool.
He's good, mate. He's the best. Family's well. Everyone's well.
Yeah, all good over here. Thanks, buddy. How about your end?
Yeah, same old, mate. Same old. I just can't stop admiring your outfit. What's the go, mate? You're running for Parliament.
I just want to get around here, mate. I generally walk around. I walk the streets with an empty suitcase, looking like I'm important and busy and got something to do. But there's fuck all.
You just put the bins out, eh?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Mate, so you're in WA for anyone that doesn't know, but obviously, basically, anyone that knows who you are knows that you're from WA. Scarborough, yeah? What was it? Not Scarborough, what's the next door?
Right in the back box of Scarborough. I just moved a little bit north of there. I'm about 7 or 8 minutes north of Scarborough, mate. So I haven't moved far from where I grew up with. And mate, I love Perth, especially in a global pandemic like we are. We're the most isolated city in the world. So we've got probably a better chance of fighting it and containing the numbers than anywhere else in the world. I was watching last night. My missus Nina is in love, literally in love, with the bloke, the governor of New York, Cuomo, his name is.
Cuomo, yeah.
He looks
He's
like
just-
a champion.
He's just telling Trump to go get fucked, and he's just doing what he thinks is right. And lucky, imagine you listen to Trump, and he had waited that extra 2 weeks. It's the largest the largest amount of people that are hit by the pandemic already. Imagine he had waited 2 weeks like Trump told him to. So he's done really well for himself, Cuomo. Yeah.
Oh man, I rate him. I reckon he's a cool dude. He just tells it as it is. He's calm. He's relaxed. And I was telling Nina last night, this bloke's not just the governor of New York. He's like everyone in political, in politics and in government and big hitters around the world. They know that bloke because he may just be the governor, but he's the governor of New York. And New York's where Wall Street is. Mate, this bloke's a big deal. He's got a massive job. But I was wigging out last night. Last night really hit me. I was taking this very seriously because my missus is into this new world order, Illuminati. I've been getting fed this stuff.
Nina's into Illuminati, is she?
Oh, proper, mate. She's been warning me.
Yes.
You know, so she's right in it, and yeah, fucking hard. And so she's been. I've been digging bunkers for years. So she's telling me all about it. But I said to her last night because we've been, Nina's tuned me right into it. But I couldn't believe it when I was watching. He was urging and imploring people of New York, anyone with factories that had the capacity to make gloves and the gowns, please, we'll pay premium, we'll prop your business up, we'll do whatever it takes. Mate, the governor of New York, who everyone else goes to for help normally, is going to everyone else for help. Mate, it blew my mind how desperate the situation was.
They're like 220,000 infected in America, more than double the next highest country. They're expected to lose 100,000 lives minimum. That's what they're saying.
Yep.
It's got to be serious. I know we don't see it, how serious it is. I'm not sure why we don't see it, because maybe that would wake people up. Seeing the Ebola virus in Africa kind of freaked people out. Maybe they should be doing the same about this and really drumming into people's heads how serious it is.
Do you know the stats on Ebola, mate? How many people are killed, or SARS? Do you know the stats? I don't know.
No, it's not super high. It wasn't like it was on like other pandemics. Just Google it.
Yeah, Google it now. Google.
Yeah, need help spelling it? G-O-O-G. Google.
I've spelled Google. Sorry. Pandemic.
Gargle.
Outbreak of the worst pandemics in history. Mate, Google's got to be the best fucking thing in the world. I love it.
It's the best.
I love it. What do I do? Swipe left?
Oh, no, I'm not sure about that, mate. I can't help you. Ask Sam. Sam,
I can't. Hey, Sammy, how are you, legend? How are you, man, dog?
The fucking barber. Sammy the barber.
Sammy
the butcher.
Hey, well, I missed that bloke. Bozo says g'day, Sammy.
Bozo. Go Bozo. We'll get into Bozo as well. We'll talk about Bozo later. Mate, growing up WA, you said you loved it. I've heard some great stories. Growing up, obviously with your old man Snowy, with Mel, your mum Maria, like your two sisters and Brennan. I haven't met your sisters before. I think I met the older one at your birthday. Is that correct?
Probably, yeah.
Actually, yeah. Your oldest, yeah.
She one I was always afraid of. I wasn't scared of my brother or my second older sister, but Narelle, my oldest sister.
Narelle, yeah, that's right. Narelle, that's the one, yeah.
A bit of a free spirit, and she's always been a bit of a hippie. She took off and travelled the world when she was 18, 19 and left us and bailed out for a long time. But she's always been the one that I've been afraid of. I never, ever, ever messed with my older sister. She was the fucking boss.
Yeah.
She was
I wouldn't know how that feels, because three brothers, obviously, it's a madhouse in my joint. But mate, you've had a good childhood in the sense you had a good family. Your old man passed away just recently. Snowy and you were very tight. I know ever since I've met you, I think it was 07, 08, we become friends. Wherever I went, any of your fights, the old man was front and center, and always a major part of your career and your life. I know it hit you pretty hard, and it came on. It came on quick, but it was pretty slow in that sense. It lasted so long. How you dealing with it now, mate? I know you've moved on a little bit in the sense you've learned from it. Your mum's still struggling a little bit, but how you feeling with that, mate? How you doing?
Yeah, all good, thanks, Fonz. And I look at it, mate, as a blessing. I was so lucky to have, like you said, mate, I had a really good family growing up, mum and dad. All that. They were like, all parents. They were at it a lot, and it was times when times were pressure in the house, whatever. It was on for young and old, but that's just fucking growing up. It's part of life.
Yeah.
But I had two sisters and a brother, and we're all very, very close and very close with mum, and our family's very, very close. So I was very lucky in that aspect, Fon, to have a loving, caring, supportive family. Me and my old man were very tight, as he was with all of us kids. Even all my mates were real tight with him, because he grew up coaching at weekend. So, mate, I was really, really, really blessed. So I look at it in a different light now. But, I still get upset and get sad when I talk about it. Sometimes I get really upset and feel sorry. But I was given a gift to have a beautiful relationship with my father that many people don't have, and I was also able to be there and tell him exactly what I thought of him in the last months of his life. Then when he took his last breath, we were all holding Dad and talking to him when he took his last breath. So for me, mate, I look at that as an absolute blessing. I'm not religious, but a blessing in we'll give a gift to be able to do that with him and be there and share that, what would you call it, special moment, more than special, but an incredible moment to be there when our old man took and watched him actually take his last gasp of air. Fucking brutal, but also something that I look at as a gift.
Yeah. It could have. You got some real you got a good little chance there at the end to say your goodbyes and mate, it's unfortunately it's a part of life, isn't it? We're all going to be 6 foot under one day, and hopefully we get the same opportunities to do the same.
I urge people to do one thing that I urge people to do one thing I did. Dad passed away middle of August, and 18. Started December 17, I started writing Dad a letter. I just started writing down all the great memories I've had with my old man, all the great laughs, some of the hard times, everything that he meant to me, how much he impacted me and my mates, just exactly what I thought of him and how much I respected and admired him and how much he'd given me in my life. I wrote it all down. And so it went for pages and pages and pages and wasn't in order. Just writing shit, and I was put a few photos together and gave it to him on Christmas Day. The old man passed away. He had dementia, frontal temporal dementia. So, but in December, and the old man still knew us and knew what he was doing when he took his last breath. So we were real lucky.
Awesome, yeah, awesome.
That thing on Christmas Day, 8 months before he died, and he absolutely ingested it. Totally knew what was being written about him and why I was writing it. So for me, my old man died knowing exactly what one of his kids thought of him, and all us kids did it as well. But he died on Friday, 8:10 at night. On Thursday night, he fed himself half a donut and half a banana. He loved jam donuts and half a banana.
Yeah.
Friday, he did some sort of a shit and wiped his own cracker. What more could a bloke want? Went out in terms, fed himself, wiped his own ass, and died.
Yeah. No, you told me that, and that's well said, because as stupid as it sounds, it's so fucking true, especially to men. We find this comfort in being very manly and strong, and we like that appearance. But I talked about this last night with the wife. I mean, imagine breaking down to the point where you need assistance. The biggest, strongest man needs assistance to wipe his ass, and mate, it's one of the things you just don't want to go through. And you should be happy, old man did go the way he did, and he's you'll be catching up with him again soon, man. I'll be having a couple of beers with him. You'll be right. You'll be there soon. You'll be back on in heaven, mate. You're back on in heaven. Again, we're touching on that topic at the end because I'm very upset, and we have to see why. We have to find out why. But mate, you've obviously you started kickboxing, is that correct? And then as a kid in WA, and then you've moved on to boxing from there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I started karate. Old man, best thing old man did was got me a karate at a young age. Me and my brother, when I was 12, 13 years old, started doing karate and then trained and loved it. And then started Muay Thai about when I was about 16 with the same guys that I was doing the karate with. And then got my black belt when I was 17 years old and kind of, thought I was Bruce Lee. Really just held my pants up. But I always wanted to be a boxer. Always loved boxing and wanted to be a fighter. And, looked at Sugar Ray and Tommy Hearns and Roberto Duran and got the special shorts on here, Fitz.
How good's that? Look at that. Mate, how about that? Wow.
Give the viewers at home a check of the pins. And so, good, they're nice looking legs for a chick. But
hot.
So the old man got us into karate, and then I had a couple of kickboxing fights when I turned 18. 1-1, lost one, got my ass kicked and I fought for the state title in my second fight. And I should have been there. I was outgunned. I was fairly inexperienced. Bloke over here in Perth, he's a good kickboxer, Oliver Olsen. He's a pretty well-known kickboxer. In Australian circles, he'd be, back in the day as well-known. Still fighting when he was like 43, 44, similar to me. Tough, hard old bugger. We had shared some great memories of that bloke. And then had my first amateur fight with Pat, Mr. Miyagi, and a guy whom I credit for giving me the foundations to be talking to you, mate.
Yeah. Mate, you went on, obviously, you had about 40 fights, was it? Amateurs? 40, 50 fights?
43, 35 wins and 21 by KO.
And you went to Sydney Olympics. Mate, did you fight Jason Delisle in the amateurs too, or just in the pros?
I fought Jason Delisle in the Nailer. I fought him in 2000 Olympic trials up in Brisbane.
Okay.
I won my first. I had 2 fights. I beat Victoria, South Australia. Then I come up against Jason in the final, and Jace and I. And there was the Olympics changed from '96. Prior to that, you could just be the Australian champion and go to the Olympic Games. Whereas they cut the numbers down, so you had to win the Oceania title. So they only sent one person from each weight division from Australia, New Zealand, Tonga, Samoa, Vanuatu, Fiji, Papua New Guinea. So to win that tournament, and I made it to. But Australia sent two team members to that Oceania titles. So Jace beat me. It was 10-9 the final. Tough, hard fight. He could have gone either way. Jace got it, and he was the Australian champion. And then I had to fight again the next day. The next morning, they got me up at 6 in the morning out of bed and said, "You got to fight again." Had a protest from Queensland, which was just bullshit. It was just politics and Arthur Tunstall and Sol Splatanic, those pricks, made me fight again the next day. And then Queensland, because it was in Queensland the titles, there was a bit of shit. So I ended up knocking out the Queenslander, which was very sad. Because I was leading the fight, and after round 2, I knew the scores, and they had me behind, and I was winning. Yeah. So then I knocked him out in the 4th round, which was satisfying. It wasn't the fighter's fault; it was just the system. Anyway, and then went on to the Oceania Games, and then in the final, I knocked out the guy that beat Jace in the fight before that in the Oceania. So unfortunately, Jace yet to win that tournament. I won the tournament. And I went to the Games in 2000, and then we met as pros twice. My first pay-per-view was against Jace out at Penrith Panthers League, so they put a big 10 outside. And I remember that. And it was he had a big following because he was from Maroubra and had a big clan, a big following. It was a hard stand-up, walk-up fighter. And I started getting a bit of recognition because of the Mundine rivalry started back a year before that, so there's a bit of hype around this fight, and it was my first pay-per-view, and we were the main event, so it was a big deal, mate. And I ended up winning that fight, and then we fought again when I moved up to light heavy. 3 years later, fought again 3 years later, and I won that fight again. But I tell you, both fights he nearly rung the bell. He rung the bell a couple of times, but he nearly put me on my ass twice in both fights. And so, mate, I just got a lot of respect for Jason Delisle. I don't know whether you saw it downstairs, but the biggest photo in my gym is of me cracking Jason Delisle, but it's not there because it's a great shot. It's 2 guys, they're just going bang. But I have so much respect for Jason Delisle because he's just such an honest fighter, mate. Such a hard fighter.
One of the best fighters Australia's ever had that never won a world title, in my opinion. He's a great fighter. A big fan. I don't know him personally. I'm obviously known through the area here. But I don't know him personally, but mate, he can fucking fight. He was a very good fighter.
I think Bonds, he's your type of bloke, mate. He's a good dude.
Yeah. I'll be holding him to that. Don't forget to the pub soon then.
And he's been going through a bit too, mate. He's been going through a bit. Thickness, mate, and he's battled through it. And his young boy fought recently. His young fella
Jackson, Jackson's been coming to my gym off and on and off. He's been training at my gym. Shout out to both of them, actually. Good luck to Jason and to Jackson. Great little kid. Mate, he had a tough fight. Wasn't fully prepared. Lost on points, but apparently he had a big dig. So that's boxing, as you know. It's sometimes that's the kick in the ass you need to wake up and put a bit more time in. But yeah, Jackson's a little gun, mate. He'll be a great fighter in the future.
if he's got anything, if he's got 50% of what his old man's got, mate, he can be a hell of a fighter.
Yeah. Oh, I know. He's got a lot of ability, mate. So it'll be coming on very soon.
Jason was a world champion kickboxer too.
Oh, was he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a kickboxer before he boxed, mate.
I didn't know that. Okay.
His nickname's the Nailer because he's a chippy by trade, but he could learn a few things off me because I'm, apprentice carpenter of the year 4 times when I did my trade. I'm a carpenter by trade. Fiddy, you didn't know that, did you?
First year, apprentice of the year, first year, right?
Second year.
4 times.
So I worked for the government. It was for the Water Authority back in 90 or 91 when I was trying to get a job. It was pretty lean. There was no work on. So I put my application in and for apprenticeship with this mob. And this guy got back to me. I didn't really want to do it because it was a government job. Water Authority was going to build wooden pipes. Anyway, I got the job. And they had awards every year. They had fitters and turners, sparkies, welders, boilermakers, carpenters, etc. Every year they had apprentice carpenter of the woods, government fucking show. And I got it, apprentice carpenter of the year. Second year I got it again. Showed the old man, went home, showed the old man, said, hey, look this, Dad. Went home, showed him, got a pen, got a certificate, apprentice carpenter of the year. My brother was a builder already. He's still a builder. I left school just to do what he did. I left school early, did what he did, did my apprenticeship. And so third year in a row, and the old man's going, geez, fucking hell, we didn't expect that from me because it's pretty hopeless. And then he took the pen home in the third year. He showed him, he said, look, Dad, apprentice carpenter of the year, got it again. He goes, that's when he jerried. He goes, you're that fucking carpenter now, aren't you? I got it again the fourth year. My brother got one. And I don't think Jason Delisle ever got carpenter of the year, mate, so I got one.
Yeah.
But if you want someone to build your house, call Jason, not me.
I'm doing it for sure, 100%. Oh, did you build that skate ramp behind you?
Yeah. In my dreams.
Build that? Yeah.
Mate, should go out and drop in it.
Mate, remember I was there a couple of weeks ago, and it's a bit too high for me, mate. Us wogs like to sit on the floor or not to swim. We're not into that. Mate, you've gone from obviously after Sydney Olympics, you turned pro, went to Jeff Phoenix gym. Mate, you were there in the golden era, like the golden period. I think if not as good, probably not far off, that are the old Jeff Harding, Fennick, Costa era. You had some fucking great fighters in that gym. It was a real. I don't know if we call it a shame or it was more expectation for more results from that gym. How was it training with, mate? There would have been 10 superstars there. You know what? I think you ended up having only 3 world champions, I think, 4 world champions coming out. But, mate, you would have thought all 10 of them were going to be world champs. Is that correct? Yeah,
mate. I first moved over there and lived with Vic Darchinian for 6 weeks out of a little bank, a unit in Bankstown. And when I first moved from Perth, and I get there and I've got the directions from the airport where to go. Jeff had lined it up to go there, and Vic was staying there. And he said, "Go stay with this bloke. He's fly away from Armenia." All right, no worries. Never met the bloke. Just didn't know who he was really. He was Olympian for 2000. Anyway, I knock on the door, got my suitcases. He empties his door. This little angry ant. Hello. Puts his hand out. We shake hands. Vic, I get to grab the bags. He goes, no, you leave. He grabs the bag. I go, no. He goes, no, you leave. I get it. Picks my bags up, takes me in, goes to my room, goes to my room. He goes, he goes, sit down there. Sit. I go, all right, no worries. Sit down. The fucking word. Sit down there. He goes, you hungry? You eat. I said, no, I'm all right, man. I had the food in the plate. No, you hungry? I cook you food. You eat. So he goes to the freezer. He pulls the freezer open. He pulls out this old fucking steak. Pulls out McCain's fries. He puts them on the pan, and then puts it in the oven and cooks it in the oven for I don't know how long. Pulls it out. We sit there. We're basically sitting there, kind of looking at each other, not saying much because he didn't speak very good English and I didn't speak Armenian, obviously. Yeah. So then he pulls the shit out, puts on the plate. The steak's like as hard as a telephone, and he puts the chips out. Hot chips, hot fried baked chips and fucking baked steak. I sit there and he just sits across from me and fucking watches me eat it. And it's like rubber with no way. I cleaned the whole thing up because I thought he was going to eat me.
Yes.
Became real good mates. So it was great. But yeah, had Vic Darchinian, Skinny Hussein, Nadal Skinny Hussein. You had Ian McLeod, Glenn and Bones. So Cameron and Bones Kelly. Who else was there? Nader Hamden, one of the greats, mate. Sakio Bika, Victor Chinian. Who else would come in and out? Then at times Shannon Taylor trained there on and off at times for a long period of time. Who else was there? Daniel Rousseau trained with Jeff for a while.
Yeah.
And then you had Peter Meneses come and train for a while.
Pete, yeah. I saw Pete last week, actually. He's given up the boxing.
Because we fought as amateurs as well. I won the Australian title back in '97 in Adelaide, and I beat Pete in the first fight to get to the final and win the title.
Yeah.
So he'd always had a bit of a grudge against me from then. And I was from Perth, he's from Sydney. Anyway, the first day I go down to Bankstown and he comes to spar me, we get in the ring and he just drops it on me, like proper, drops it on me and tries to knock me out. For 2 rounds, just fucking going hell for leather. And I'm hanging in there going, geez, he's a bit full on here. I'm used to sparring hard anyway because I've always sparred hard. So I'm used to it, bang, bang, bang. In round 4, I've opened him up and he's that's, we're done, we're finished. I said, no worries. And he was probably even more angry at me then. So then we sparred again when the gym changed from Bankstown to Marrickville. He come down and sparred again. Same thing happened. He dropped it on me real hard. I come back, ended up travelling pretty well, going okay. And he hopped out the ring. He goes, he said something to me. I said, Pete, we can do that every time, or we can work in and help each other. It doesn't bother me what we do, man. I'm cool with both. But I said, it's not really working out, that well for you. I said, we're going to get the best out of each other if we work in and not try and kill each other. And we had plenty of sparring sessions after that, mate. He was cool because that was Pete. Pete was he's a hard man,
Yeah, he's an angry little Greek, mate, but he can fucking fight. Yeah, he was a great little fighter.
He was a very good fighter, mate. And
did he turn pro?
Yeah, mate.
Did he turn pro? He did, eh?
Yeah, he fought him and Donald had a good fight. But there was Pete was probably, with all respect to Pete, he was probably an underachiever, considering how much talent he had and how big his fucking heart was, mate. He was a very good fighter, mate, and he was talented, he was skillful, but he was tough. So, mate, we had some wars in the gym, mate. It was great fun. Then you had Victor Oganov.
Oh, Vic, yeah. We're talking about Vic with Garth the other day.
We
had punch.
We had a lot, yeah. Vic can punch, mate. He was strong and tough and funny guy, very funny, but underrated. He's a funny motherfucker. People don't realize how funny he is because he's so staunch. Mate, he's hilarious.
Yeah,
he got a great sense of humor.
Is he still in Perth? He's still in Perth, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still in Perth. He's over here doing security and stuff. And mate, he's a funny guy.
He's good fella. He's the best.
So, yeah, a lot of really, really good fighters that come out of Team Fennick back in the day, mate. There was an incredible bunch of fighters and, world champions. I mean, you look at a guy like that fight Hussein had with Horgar. Oh, far out. One of the great fights.
The first one was so great. Yeah, first one was an awesome fight. Unbelievable.
And Skinny Hussein knocking Manny Pacquiao out. People don't know that.
Yeah.
Skinny Hussein unofficially stopped Manny Pacquiao in a fight, but because it was in Manila and it was as corrupt as all fuck, the count went for 20 seconds. Skinny Hussein beat Manny Pacquiao before Manny Pacquiao became a superstar. And that's a fact.
We're talking about ex-fighters that didn't make it as a world champion, mate. One of the worst was, again, Nadal. Like, Skinny should have been a world champion. He was a fucking cracker of a fighter. Beautiful, best body puncher I've ever seen.
It's fun, mate.
Yeah, it's a pity he didn't get all the way to the end to get that world title because, mate, he deserved it. He was a great fighter.
Very good, mate. And to watch him and Skinny, him and Hussey all the time, I learned so much. And Billy training the boys. And Billy was my assistant for a long time in the gym as well, mate. So I learned so much off those blokes. Billy obviously was a very good trainer. And for me, he was a very good trainer back then.
Smart boxing family they are. Very smart.
Incredibly. Love the sport of boxing and very just calm and relaxed people, mate. But, mate, Skinny and Huss, I just used to learn so much watching those blokes spar, mate. It was a fucking great environment to be in that gym.
Yeah, no, it's a probably, like I said, it's easily the best gym names wise that this country's ever had. Results wise, probably the best as well. To be honest, not far off the best as well. So if not the best, you went on to fight.
Nader Hamden, sorry, Vince. Nader Hamden was another guy, mate. That
awesome fighter.
As far as his ability goes, like he wasn't the most gifted fighter, and that's coming from a bloke who I'm not Sugar Ray Leonard either, for fuck's sake. But Nader was he was all heart, lion heart. Like that guy we did hundreds of rounds of sparring, and every time he sparred him, mate, you'd leave there just going, oh my God, I'm so sore. He was just so tough, mate, and he was relentless. But he actually had a very good boxing brain, but his fast twitch muscle fibre wasn't as good as it needed to be to box the way he did, if that makes sense. So he'd go back to wearing you down and grinding you down, mate. That guy was, I guess, with all respect to him, was probably an overachiever with what he was born with skill-wise, and so was I. But he just tried and worked so fucking hard, mate. Got so much respect for that bloke as a fighter.
He was a 12-round fighter. He's a niggler. He would just cut you down and hopefully break you in half. That's what he. Especially in his early days. I remember as a kid watching him. That's what he was known for. He wasn't a big puncher. He wasn't flashy. He was just on you the whole time and worked hard. So it's something people can learn from fighters like that. It makes a big difference. You don't need all the ability as long as you work hard. You went on to fight Marcus Bayer 03. 03?
Yeah, mate. Just 03. August 23rd. 03, mate.
Yeah. You lost majority? Split majority?
No, I got disqualified.
I was qualified. So the first one was disqualification. That's right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. The second one was the majority. Is that right? Yeah.
Majority loss, yeah.
Yeah. Mate, won't go too far into it because there's a question about it, but how did you feel after you lost?
Pretty gutted, Fonz, pretty gutted. We went over there 10 days out. I was telling someone last night, a young fighter that reached out to me on Instagram asking some questions about Angela Hyder, the legend. And I said, mate, he was a reason why I was able to box so well against, because Angela's always been my assistant, my matchmaker and assistant trainer, and then my head trainer. But about a week out, I was hitting the pads with Jeff, who were in Germany preparing, and I was hitting them. I was just hitting the pads really well. The pads obviously mean nothing, but I was just boxing so crisp. I just kind of kicked a new level from where I'd gone before I left Australia and got to Germany. I just kicked a new level, and that's what happens to fighters when you're on the big stage. You either fold or you fucking go a level. I went up a level.
Mate, hold on. We've got a mystery caller. Hello.
Oh, hi. How are you?
How you going, mate? Who's this?
Peter.
Peter. Not Peter who?
Peter the Pecker Eater. I know that voice.
Peter Sutcliffe.
Peter the Pecker Eater.
Peter Sutcliffe. Peter Sutcliffe.
How are you, mate?
Good. You?
Good, buddy.
Angelo Hyder, welcome to the show. We're just talking about you.
That's excellent. Bad things, I guess.
Nothing good at all, like usual. All pretty bad.
Where's this bloke going dressed like that?
He's running for WA Premier.
He'd do a good job. I've always said green for green. Green for green should be the title in politics.
I'm going to hold a press conference later on, mate, but I need my right-hand man. You better get in a plane over here. I better run over, H.
Give him a word. Give him a word to spell. Any word you want. He's an excellent speller.
Come on, Ponce. Keep me up.
Lollapalooza.
GETFUCKED.
Yes.
Give him a country for a capital city, Fonz. A capital city. Any country you want.
Bermuda.
Triangle.
Come on, give him a good one.
Angelo, we're talking about Marcus Bayer and his first fight and then his qualification. We're saying about how he lost his fight. How did you feel? He said you had a lot to do with his... well, we got to the point that I butted in, sorry. So it was about... Explain, Daniel.
And about a week out, remember, H, you said to Jeff, he goes, mate, I reckon this bloke's going to box his ears off because I was hitting the pads real well in that gym that day. And you go, mate, he's going to box his ears off. I wouldn't march him forward all the time. I'd just get him boxing off that jab. Remember that?
Yeah, yep.
You called it, and then we out there and obviously demolished Bayer, just fucking demolished him. And I couldn't believe it. I was spinning out. I was very confident of being victorious, but you don't really know, mate. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. You're confident, but you're against the WBC world champion, who's like two-time champ now. You're like, how's this going to go? But I was all hanging for it. But H had given me such confidence in my own boxing ability because he identified it and I felt good. And then going into the fight, we pummeled him, busted him. And I'll never forget, we clashed heads in. I dropped him round one, lifted him off his feet. Dropped him round two, again, lifted him off his feet. You can see replay actually comes off his feet. And the guy gets up. And then I bust him in round two with it was like a bang, just a straight left that chopped his eye bad. Then worked in round 3. They should have called off in round 3 with the car. It was that bad. Round 4, still dominating. Round 5, just send this guy from corner to corner, just on him. Then I've gone to throw a hook and I've clashed heads, and my head never touched his eye. It didn't go near his eye. But because it was dramatic, there's blood everywhere, and he's fucking carried on like a pork chop, Marcus Bayer. Rest in peace, Marcus Bayer, he's a legend. And it wasn't his problem that I got disqualified. It was the referee and the corruption over there. Anyway, they stopped the fight, and then 11 minutes later, after they found the scorecards, which I was a mile ahead, they pulled some piece of paper out. Took forever to get it, and then I don't know what the piece of paper said, but it said, and the doctor overruled the referee's decision to go to the scorecards. We're going to the scorecards on TV. He said, I'm going to the scorecards. The foul was not flagrant enough for me to defend, to disqualify the offending fighter. We're going to the scorecards. Doctor pulls a piece of paper, overrules the decision. Doctor stops the fight because he can't continue. About 6 minutes of that, H goes, settle down, because there was all shit going on. Remember, he came up to H, go, just relax, you've got it. Just relax, you've got it. You're the champion.
Standing behind the bloke with the scorecard, it's got winner Danny Green. He couldn't read it out though. Sowland's going, don't read it out, don't read it out. I'm looking at it going, Greeny, he's got to read it out. You've won the fight. 10 minutes later, we go back. They've changed the scorecard. Different. Bloody disqualified.
That's your mate, isn't it, Sowlands?
Wilfred Sowland. But you know what? You get a bit of clarity over time, mate, and their promoters doing their thing. And Christian Meyer was the guy who was the manager there, and we've kept in touch and got a good relationship with him. And that's sport, mate. That's the way it goes around. If you hold that against them, and I guess that's one thing I learned from you, H, is you know that it was actually a blessing in disguise what happened to me, because if I won the world title, it wouldn't have had as much.
What would happen?
It wouldn't have had as much impact and I wouldn't have got that fight against Luca in Montreal and won over there. And I don't know, things happen for a reason, but.
Dan, what was magnificent, even with Sowland, is we went to Moscow. Me and Greeny went to Moscow to the WBC convention. And Don Majeski, the great agent, works with us, but worked with Sowland, was on their payroll. He said, boys, I've got to go where the money is first. We're mates. I'll help you as if I can, but I've got to go with Sowland. I said, no problem, Don, we're good. So me and Greeny were there.
H goes to town and starts lobbying every fucking official that he can think of, and you know his black book upstairs. It's bigger than a fucking phone book. He starts going, this guy takes me. I'm in touch with him. He goes, this, just lost the fight, blah blah. If we do this, will you support us? Keep going, H.
So Greeny, I said, mate, this bloke's the head of Africa. This is the head of. I went to all the board of governors that had to vote on it and introduced Greeny personally. I said, this is Peter such and such. That's Johnson. He's North America. He's the NABF. He's the Latino bloke.
Quickly, because they're gonna decide at the convention all the disputes they've had. So they're gonna one of the disputes is my thing to get the immediate rematch. So go on, mate.
So what happened is Luca was ordered the rematch from controversy, but Bayer was given one voluntary, which was Dan. So Eric Luca's there fighting for his spot. We're fighting to go back in because our controversy. We want the rematch. And the bloke from Greeny, you remember his name with Pele, Larson or something, was it? He was mandatory. His mandatory was due. Three people were lobbying to fight Bayer at the one time.
Yeah. So H used his brains, and he's gone. And the Germans tried to do it. They said, "Rightio, they weren't quite sure at that stage, but they didn't know what we're going to do." So what Don had done is he'd gone around and he said to the guys from Montreal, whom he was also representing, from Eric Luca, because Eric Luca was the WBC champion. Then he lost to Bayer the fight before me in controversial decision. They allowed him to have one voluntary defence, and then he'll have to have the immediate rematch with Luca. They didn't expect I'd do what I did. They thought, Green, Australia, 16-0, should be an easy fight. We'll take him to cleaners. Go and fight after. So we threw a spanner in the works. So then H has gone to Majeski's gone, if you give us the green light to go and fight Bayer in the rematch and don't oppose that, we'll give you X amount of dollars to fight us if we win. And if Bayer wins, you'll fight him anyway because you'll be the next in line because of the controversy. So we couldn't lose. So then what happened was Bayer, I was up there giving my speech, whatever. I spoke for myself at the convention. Hey, goes, get out there.
Hey, but what about then when Alan ended up going, yeah, we'll fight Dan, we'll fight Greedy and all this, and we're fucking dropped, we've turned it all around, and they've gone, what? The next day we changed the goalpost.
So we moved the goalpost on them because they'd done it before, and so Sauerland wanted the rematch with me because he didn't want to pay Luca the extraordinary amount, because he goes, either way, if I have the rematch with Green and Green wins, we own Green, so we can't lose either. He didn't really care.
Yeah.
But we'd gone rightio, so we'd done a deal with the French, the Canadians, that if we give him the go ahead to fight ahead of us, then we'll either fight Bayer or Lucas. We can't lose, and I'll get paid more money if I fight Lucas. So I couldn't lose. So then he gets up and Sauerland goes, yeah, we'll fight Dan Bayer. Then I get up next. So I go, yeah, well, you know what? Really appreciate it. And with all respect, and Bayer the great champion and Luca the great champion, but I think that Eric Luca deserves the rematch ahead of us. Everyone
You
went,
could have heard a pin drop.
and he jumped up out of his seat and tried to grab the microphone off me in front of all these people. And I've just had to grab the mic because he's a bit old and fro. I say, hey, back off. I'm talking. And so he had to sit down, otherwise he looked like an idiot in front of all these people from the convention. So it was fun. It spun their heads. So what happened was, Bayer then, they made a decision. They gave the rematch to Bayer, to Luca first. And then Bayer retired because he needed plastic surgery on his eye. He retired. So then that was it. The title was up for me and Luca, and we flew to Montreal and did the job and got paid a lot more than what I'm getting paid before.
Why was it called the interim world title?
Yeah. Why?
It was a full world title. Why was it interim?
At the start, it was interim, and then it became the full title.
Because Bayer retired. So he hadn't retired yet. He was on hibernation, etc. So they were waiting for him to make a decision whether he's going to come back, whether he could fight again, because his eye was so bad. Yeah, and then that was it. So it was interim title, but it was the official world title. And then when
Fid, sorry. So, yeah, what happened is Bayer was ordered to fight Luca. Then all of a sudden they said, no, we'll appoint Green and that for the interim. And then they said, you're going to fight. So then he retired. Then it became the full title.
Makes sense. So
and then they manipulated it back again. And then, as they do when money talks.
Look, the WBC is a great body. I've done that 2 or 3 times myself. That ratings committee, and you have to sell yourself, and mate, it's a funny process, but. Yeah, they have their favourites, obviously. Whoever pays, obviously, their favourites. That's the way it works. And unfortunately, in Australia, we haven't got the power to go against Sauerlands or K2 promotions or Top Rank. And so, it's always going to happen to us Aussies. We're going to be second best. But, you've won the world title from Eric Lucas in Montreal, in Canada.
Montreal, the belt, mate, was awesome.
You've won that world title. Finally, you got your world title.
Can we stop there for a sec, Fidge?
Go ahead, mate.
You need to ask Greeny about being threatened to not get paid, and what happened to the promoter in the changing rooms, and a urine test. You don't need to go anywhere else. This is stuff you need to hear.
Please.
The head of the police is in there. The head of Montreal Police is the commissioner for the WBC, the vice president. Someone comes and gets me. I can't go into details. It's up to Greeny, but someone comes and gets me because obviously I was with Greeny, and they said, please go and get Danny. He's gone crazy in the changing room. So I pulled it in there. Anarchy's broken out in there. There's a bloke screaming for his life. I'll pay. Okay, I'll pay.
What happened, Greeny?
I'll pay.
Please.
I know nothing.
Bullshit.
Because Greeny had on his back
they gave us a piss.
Golden Palace.
They gave us a
and then on the contract it said the you can't wear casino stuff, something like that, because the main sponsor was the Montreal Casino. So Greeny's fronted with Golden Palace. The blokes walked in the change room, the promoter, and gone, mate, you wore that on your back. We're not paying. And all I heard was, I'll pay. I don't know what was going on.
We've been in those predicaments a couple of times, Greedy.
They tried to get us to do a piss test, and they gave us a snap lock bag. Bag to do a piss test. So I pissed in it. I'm going to Fanning. I'm not doing this. He goes, Greeny, just do it, mate. Just do it. You know, Jeff's like, fucking, let's get on with it. He doesn't really think ahead that clearly. Sometimes when he gets excited, I'm going, fuck, I'm not doing that. He goes, did the piss. He goes, just do it, mate. We'll get over. Let's go fucking celebrate. You know, woo, world champion. Like, mate, I'm not doing this. They're going to set us up. It's a snap lock bag. And the doctor come in, he's like, I'll give me the thing. He's trying this. I'm not doing it. He goes, So I just fucking threw it against the wall and it fucking sprays. I'm not doing it. I was just angry, you know, because they're threatening not to pay us now. So now I'm not going to get paid. So unfortunately, my manager, was my trainer and promoter, didn't read the contract. And I had goldenpalace.com on my back, the tattoo, which back in the day was the online gambling. And what I was getting paid for that was, you know, a significant amount of money back then for me. I was like, I'm not turning that down. I didn't really want it, but, you know, it wasn't like I had, you know, Jim Mullen on my back. I had something, you know, that was a pretty big outfit. Anyway, and good luck to those guys who put Jim Mullen on their back. You know, you got to feed yourself, feed your family. But and then obviously in the contract, because Casino de Montreal was the major sponsor, it was a conflict, so they didn't have to pay me. And to this day, I don't know why he's what's his name? What's
the promoter's name in Canada?
Jean.
He's French Canadian, yeah.
He still promotes Pascal and that.
What's his name? Oh, good guy.
Two names. It's two names.
Jean-Michel, Jean-Paul.
Something like that. Yeah, it's close.
Oh, far
Daniel
out.
Green.
Marcel.
I know you.
Marcel.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about because we dealt with him years ago as well. He wasn't a bad bloke to deal with.
Anyway, we ended up getting paid. That's amazing.
You always get paid, Greeny. You're Mr. Business, mate. Get your suit, please. Mate, H. Now, mate, can you...
I'm going to duck away for 2 seconds, go for a slash. 1 sec.
Awesome. Mate, H, how you been, buddy?
Yeah, battling on, mate. Battling on. It's been good for me. The less I got to think about, the less headaches I have. So it's all right. Just settling back. It's good for me.
How are the two little twins going, mate?
Yeah, they're good. They're very good. They're you know, what people don't understand too, and I was explaining it to them and they agreed, is these days, it's not like the old days where you just train every day. Like the hungry blokes in Mexico and Philippines, they just train all the time. People now, they go away overseas, get their money, have a break, turn up and only train for a fight. So you lose the fine details of practicing your power shots, you know, practicing catching and jabbing and fending and slipping. All you're doing is trying to practice the fight, get fit first, and then fight this opponent. So we're not learning all the skills that the old timers could parry and slip and fend and slip and, you know, these type of moves with their hands. So we're going through all those basics and working a lot of power shots. What's this all about? It's a burglar. The burglar in the joint.
What's this?
Look at him. Oh, shit.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
That's the show outfit.
The fuck is going on? Who are you talking to?
Yeah. What about that?
Fuck, I'm Eddie.
Yeah. Take the video with you. You back? We're just discussing the Maloney twins. So, what? They like to stay in the gym and train, or you're saying they need more time?
They can't stay at home. They just love to keep doing the those 1%ers. That, you know, I was just saying, Greeny. A lot of times now,
mate, they're throwbacks.
They're throwbacks. You know, they're practicing power, practicing a lot of, you know, moves that you don't get to do, parrying and, you know, fending and stuff with your hands and sweeping. And, you know, it's great that they can get in and work at such a high rate with each other.
Hello, how are you?
How's it going?
Why are you wearing a wig?
Chloe's Danny's 18-year-old, 18-year-old daughter, championship swimmer. How's your swimming going, Chloe?
Yeah, good, thank you. Pretty good. Just the pools are closed now, so we've been swimming. Pools have been closed now, so just swimming down at the ocean across the road from us. That's about it. Every couple of days, but yeah, haven't been doing much lately.
Chloe does the 5 to 10K. Is that the 5 or 10K swims? Ocean swims.
There's 5, 7.5, 10. Just depends, really.
Have you swam to Rottnest Island? No.
I have not. Maybe when I'm older, but I don't really have an interest in that right now. But one day, maybe.
There's quokkas on the island. Did you know that? What quokkas? Sorry, quokkas.
You love them. You love them.
I'm gonna pinch one. I'm telling you, I'll pinch one.
You didn't.
There, Chloe.
You didn't.
See,
There, mate.
You didn't manage to go to that restaurant that serves those nice little baby skewers.
Which one?
The restaurant there that does them beautifully. The baby cock for entree, baby cock.
Don't fucking say that. They're
No?
like the best animals in the world. Best.
Tomato sauce, they're good.
H looks like a bit of a quokka. Look at him.
And going back to the Maloney's, but they're proper throwbacks. They cannot get enough of the gym. And to tell you how good those blokes are, not good, but how dedicated they are to their trade. I met him in 2015 at Vegas in the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. The night before, there was a fight at the Aria nightclub, or Cosmopolitan nightclub. It was at Angulo, the tough middleweight Mexican.
Alfredo Angulo. And it was the ESPN fight night. I remember it, yeah.
And I went to get in to see Don Majeski. I was just in the bleachers and went to get in the VIP to see where Don was. I saw him and I couldn't get in. Anyway, the Maloney boys saw me. I'd never met him before. They come over, hey, Greeny, Andrew, Jason Maloney met me. G'day, mate. And Jay Mitchell's there. G'day, boys. How you going? And they said, do you want to go see that bloke? So Jason's just handed me the VIP card, shook my hand and handed me the VIP card slowly. And then I went and saw Don and we caught up at the fight. And they said, can we catch up when we get to Melbourne? Want to have a chat to you? I said, sure, no worries. A month later, met him in Melbourne. And they said, what do you reckon I could do to help my boxing? And just asked my advice. And I said, oh, let me go have a look at you, and went and watched him spar and train one day. And I'm thinking, you there, H?
No.
Okay, I went and watched him spar, watched him train. And I sat down with that old man, Darryl, who's very close to him. I said, boys, with all respect to your trainer now, whoever his name was, with all respect to him, mate, if you boys want to do what you say you want to do, become world champions, you need to move from him and go and train with Angelo Hyder. You need to have a world-class jab, because if you can't jab and have a world-class jab, you're not going to get these tough Mexicans, Filipinos, guys, Japanese. You won't keep them off you, and you need to relocate. That's what you need to do. And stop sparring each other. 3 things. Within 6 months, they moved up north to train with Angelo Hyder, relocated their whole to go and live and train with Angelo Hyder. Their jab, H has got their jab now to where it is absolutely world-class, and they're dropping guys with it. And the proof's in the pudding. Andrew is now the world champion, and Jason will be fighting for the world championship very soon when all this bizarre shit's over. So fucking amazing.
You said it perfectly. Yeah, in that division against like those Mexicans, Filipinos, and they're animals. They're not just fucking fighters. They're animals at super flyweight, bantamweight. If you haven't got a jab, you're not going to mix it with them fucking punching on. There's no chance. Where are you going, Greeny?
I'm just getting me charger, boys.
You see Gonzalez the other day, Chocolatito, Fitz?
No, I didn't watch it.
The bloke who was dodging Andrew that you fight from Matchroom, he couldn't keep him off. Couldn't jab him, couldn't keep him off, and Latito ended up stopping him.
I know the result. Yeah, Chocolatito got up, and he's been having a bad run lately too. So it's a pretty big result.
No jab, just couldn't keep him off. You can't.
Mate,
keep
you got a jab.
like that off.
You can't get those Central American Latinos off you. It's impossible. Is that Archie? Archie!
International viewers, so I know you got a big group of Mexicans over there, Fidge. You got any international viewers tuning in?
No, but buenos dias, Mexicanos. What's that?
Archman! Archman!
Your kangaroo.
It's the window. It's the window. Hey, boys. There was a story I got told a couple of years back. It was a pearler of a story. So we'll miss the mundane first fight. You've probably talked about it 50 times, all right, or 1,000 times. Mate,
Hold on, Finn. My daughter's just about to take my car and she hasn't got a fucking license. Hold on. Hey, Oh, okay, cool. Sorry.
You know,
Jump the fence. Jump the fence.
You know this is going to go on. People are going to see this swearing.
It's all right. We're not on iTunes. We're fine. We're only Spotify. Hey, so you had the fight with Choc, obviously. You've won a world title against Stipe Drews. I won't go into all that. You've talked about it a million times, right?
Yep.
I want to go into the fight leading into Roy Jones, right? So Dominguez fight. You've moved up the cruiserweight. You've fought in the Kirk. You've retired. You've come back. You've fought in the Kirk. South African. You've iced him in 2 rounds or 3 rounds?
Yep, 2 rounds, mate. And Angelo was there, trainer. My official.
Yeah, I was there. It was in Perth. I remember your first fight back. You walked out with soldiers. I remember that. Is that right? Yeah.
It was near Anzac Day, mate, so I was just paying my respects. Yep.
You've gone on to fight Dominguez for the IBO World Cruiserweight title on the Jeff Lacey Roy Jones undercard. Now, that was in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yep.
Right?
At the Beauregard, down at the Beauregard.
Please tell me the story about when you guys were driving once and you got pulled over by the coppers. Please. Let the
I
viewers
got to
hear the
start
story.
it. I got to start it. He's got to finish it because I'm the bloke. Mate, he's swerving to the left, the right, driving up driveways, hitting the brakes, accelerating, swerving like he's going through a chicanes. And I said, oh, he's got the music going flat out, loud as anything. And I've just gone, oh, man, it'd be unbelievable if a copper was following us and he's looked in the rear vision mirror. Or I said, you better look in the rear vision mirror.
I thought he was taking. What happened?
Oh.
We're driving along, and the song we're driving to the weigh-in, and the Land Down Under from Men at Work comes on. I'm going, fuck, how good is this?
But he can't hear the sirens. It's that loud.
Hitting the brakes, so we're doing that to the song, to the drum beat, and then speeding up, and he's mucking around, and it's not all of the road, but I was doing this one a little bit, and not dangerous to someone who can drive a car. Anyway, he goes, you better imagine if the cop pulled us over, and I'm like, yeah, fucking imagine that. And then I looked rear vision mirror and pulled over. I said, what do I do? Well, how am I going to get out of this? Instantly, quick finger on his feet all the time. Goes, mate, tell him there was a wasp. Tell him there was a hornet. Tell him there was a hornet.
No, I said, tell him there's a wasp. And then you pulled over and jumped out. And I said, don't get out of the car, he'll shoot you. And then you've jumped out of the car. He's gone for the piece. And you've gone, there's a goddamn wasp in the car. He goes, what's a wasp? And you've gone, some type of hornet.
Mate, he's behind the car. He's hopped out and he's looking through the window. There's the doors open. He's looking through the window and he's like this, going, fuck. And he goes, get in the car, sir. Get back in the car. I'm like, get back in the car. It's a wasp. He goes, get back in the car. I said, no, this is some type of wasp. H is yelling at me, going, get in the fucking car, Greedy. Hayden Hobbs in the back seat, shitting himself, going, what's going on? He goes, what's a wasp? I said, I don't know, it's some type of hornet. He goes, oh, fuck, man. So he comes to us, oh, what's going on? He goes, I thought you guys were fighting. I said, nah, man.
He thought we were punching on in the car.
And yeah, we told him we're going the weigh-in, fighting the Roy Jones undercard. He goes, oh, man, okay, great stuff, all the best. Good luck in the fight, man, rah-rah. On we went. So he made it.
Could have been shot.
I could have been shot a couple of times, mate. We've got some stories, though, about it.
If it wasn't for Hayden's quick thinking, mate, I reckon we would have been in the fight.
But, so you've beaten Dominguez in, I think, 4 rounds.
He's tough last day.
Oh, he's a tough.
He broke Greeny's ribs in the first round, didn't he?
Yeah, badly. Badly.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, he smashed them bad in the third. Like when I say broken ribs, how many fighters broke my ribs? I had to go back and have X-rays because they were so painful. There was 2 fractured and displaced ribs. So
they never come good till for his whole career. They never come good. He broke them a couple of times after. Shane Cameron broke him in the second round. He fought the whole fight with them broken.
Nah, man, we broke them 5 weeks out, man. We had to go to the MRI. The fight was called off.
Yeah, no, he broke them before, but then he broke them in the fight again. That's a whole story on its own, Fidel. That one.
I don't think you broke him again. I think they just stay broke, you know.
Yeah, well, he hit him and hurt. He hurt you in him again in the second round.
Well, you've gone on from that fight. You got the Roy Jones fight. To this day, am I right? It's the biggest fight in Australian history.
No, number one was me and Chop.
You and Chop?
Number two was Roy, and number three was me and Chop too.
Okay.
So, but in saying that, wasn't Horn Pacquiao a bigger crowd, but you had more pay-per-views?
Sorry, Horn and Pacquiao was a bigger crowd. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But we had we had over double the pay-per-view.
Yeah, mate, look, Pacquiao and Roy at that time, both of them are as big as each other. So it was a great, but I think Horn didn't have your profile. You had a massive profile at that point. So that would have contributed to those numbers.
Big superstar to come out, you know?
Yeah, it was. It was remarkable that you actually got him there because as Pacquiao was for Horn.
Yep.
Now, you walked away with a first-round knockout.
I've got my gym of you, mate. I've got you in the gym. It's in your ring, and I keep around the centre in the gym. I'm across the ring with my hand in the air, and you're like this.
Where is that photo?
I'll take it. You want to go and get it?
Can you get it?
I'll get it now, yeah?
I'll get it.
1 sec. Hold the phone. I'll be back.
He's coming with another outfit. And
Hey, Fonz,
let me go to...
people forget what a demolition Roy Jones did of Jeff Lacey that night
The
when
fight
Dan
before.
fought
Mate, how great did he look the fight before?
He was looking at Danny in the crowd, slipping punches under and making Lacey miss, looking at Greeny, holding him and going, "You're next. You're next."
I remember it. And
because they'd already done the deal to fight if they both won. And he was looking at Greeny all the time going, "Mate, you're next." People forget. You know, some unfortunate people say, "Oh, he's washed up and this and that," because what Dan did. You're not washed up when you destroy a bloke like Jeff Lacey and don't lose a round.
No, he destroyed Jeff. I think he stopped him in the 7th or 8th. Is that correct?
I don't know. Dan will tell you. I can't remember.
I think he stopped him. It was one of his best performances, like in a while. It was a good performance. Here we go. He's back, the Jackaroo. Show us the photo, Greeny.
There's the photo. And then there's you, Fonz.
I'm in the corner. Where am I? Get higher. Oh, the walk in the white shirt. There you go. Hands up. Look, head down. Yes.
That's a beautiful photo, mate, because it's absolute pure jubilation. You're like, fuck yeah. It's wicked.
Mate, because I remember 4 days out from the fight, mate, I'm a Roy Jones tragic, right? Tragic. And you've said to me, come meet me at the Star City. I said, yes, sweet. I'll meet you at Star City. It was about 4 or 5 days out from the fight. Roy Jones gets there before you. Now, you're a fair bloke, but you like people to stay on your side. That's how you are, especially coming into a fight. You don't like people sitting on the fence. It's like, fuck, you're on my team or you're not. So Roy Jones rocked up in his car. We're at the in the hotel foyer at Star City, and I've gone, oh fuck, it's Roy Jones. I go, I'm gonna rush over and say hi. I run over to him. Roy, how you doing, man? He goes, yeah, man, he's a real nice bloke. Hey, nice to meet you, man. La, la, la. I said, sorry, I got to go, mate. I'm on Team Danny Green. Sorry. And I left him. And he's not letting go. I was surprised. Greeny rocks up about 2 minutes later after he's gone up. And I've got the Greeny. We've hugged. I said, mate, you're going to beat this fucker in 1 round. And he starts laughing. He goes, at least someone thinks it. I go, no, mate, you're going to knock this cunt out in the first round. He goes, what do you mean? I said, he just doesn't look like he can match you, bro. You look like a fucking bull. You got this guy. And he just starts laughing. He kind of shrugged it off. I don't know if you believed it. I'm not sure if you believed it. But I went and told everyone. Put 10 grand on Green to knock this guy out in the first round. They all thought I was fucking mad. So if you see after the fight, all these people come running over to me because I told them I put 10 grand on it. And you were paying $55 to one to knock him out the first round.
$88 it was, apparently. 88.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So they all thought I won $500,000. So they all run over to me. And, mate, did you think that you, and UH, like, all right, you always believe your fighter's got a chance, but what did you really think, especially come off the Jeff Lacey fight, where he absolutely fucking demolished him? Did you really
Fox,
think he had a chance?
Mate, Andy Raymond interviewed me before the public workout, and he asked me the same question. I said, I'm going to tell you this. Danny Green will knock out Roy Jones. He said, what round? I said, I don't know what round, but I tell you, I truly believe Danny will knock him out. He goes, you just saying that for the publicity? I said, mate, I'm telling you, I know Danny's going to knock him out. I really believe it. He's going to knock him out. I had no doubt in my mind. And today, I was talking to the Maloneys about some things that we're working on, what we said before. And I said, I know in my heart and my knowledge that you blokes are going to be world champions and do a lot in boxing. And I said those words. I knew Danny was going to knock Roy Jones out. I had no doubt about that. And I said, and I feel the same way about what you blokes are going to do. You just know it, some things inside.
Have a feeling, eh? Yeah. What about you, Danny?
Yeah, mate. I was very, very confident. I didn't think I'd put him away in the first round. No way did I think that. So that's probably why I laughed on. But I felt, and what I said to you, at least someone believes it. That's because myself, Angelo, my sparring partners, my family, my missus, my kids, my brother, and a couple of my close mates, and Molly, and those kind of people. Very, very tiny amount of people had faith. The rest of them were going, yeah, he'll do well. Yeah, thinking to himself, he ain't going to do well, especially after what he did to Jeff Lacey 3 months before that. People are like, you got no chance. You're going to get fucking smoked. And I don't blame people one bit for thinking that. But what amuses me is you go in as a 5-1 underdog, and then you put the guy away, and all of a sudden the bloke's washed up. He fought 15.
You're 8-1 underdog.
Went 12 rounds of Bernard Hopkins 4 months later, all these things. But for me, that victory was without doubt a fairy tale, and it's a once in a lifetime.
Yeah,
and I never, ever, ever say that I'm nowhere near Roy Jones' level, ever. But the game of boxing, the sport of boxing, anyone can win on any fight. It takes one punch. I proved it, and I was able to finish him off and use my skill and experience to finish him off. Because if I wasn't a good finisher, he would have hung on because he's so experienced. And I tell you one thing, he is fucking strong. Because when he was inside holding me, I was trying to get him off. And when I was unloading on him, and we were throwing these shots at H and I had practiced meticulously thousands of times in the lead up. When we get Roy hurt, this is what he's going to do. He's going to cover like he always does. He's going to cover there. So I went bang, bang, bang up the middle, and every time we did that, he was groaning. He was going, 18,000 people screaming. I could still hear Roy Jones groaning, hanging on.
And you hit him to the body hard, and he still took him too.
I nearly chopped him in half. And I just remember looking over, Fitz. I won't bang on anymore, mate, but I remember looking over when I dropped him, that first punch, and you hear that. It sounded like a whip, a crack of a whip. And I dropped him, and I looked over when I got to my corner, and you know the golden rule of boxing is as soon as you drop someone, and me being a finisher, and having not dropped plenty of people, you learn to go to your corner straight away so the referee starts to count. You don't want to give your opponent a chance. So I ran to a corner, turned around, and Roy tried to get his feet, and he fell face first again. He hasn't got up yet, and he's fallen down twice. I knew he's in trouble. I looked over the corner, looked over at H, as I always knew to do, looked over to him, and everyone else is going fucking bananas in the corner, and H is just going. He knew what I was thinking. He didn't need to say anything. He was telling me, just be fucking cool, be calm, and go and do what you got to do. I knew what he was saying without him saying anything. Him doing that was enough to go. I knew, right, what I got to do, just go and do it, but don't lose your shit. So I went in there and meticulously picked him off with the shots we need to. The referee jumped in, stopped it, did history, and it was like, oh, mate, it was just amazing. And this bloke's got to be given a lot of credit for that victory.
I could see his eyes in the corner. They were like a poker machine. You could fucking see it. It was no bullshit. And that's why even when you fought Choc the second time and Choc hit you on the break, I saw you go down. I could see your fucking eyes like a poker machine. You were fucked as well. I could see Roy's eyes. They were fucked. And I knew it's a legitimate shot. But the shot that got it, we were in the gym 3 weeks previous or 2 weeks previous, and this goes down to H. You were working on this getting inside punch, where it was a jab to the head, jab to the leg, and come in with an uppercut. Is that correct? Was that was the Roy Jones fight, right? You were working on the head.
We jab the body, jab the head, jab the body. So you touch here, and then boom, come through the middle with an uppercut. But
were you jabbing the leg at one point? And you're coming in with a right hand up after it, like a right uppercut? Did you ever work on that? I'm sure I watched you in the gym pull off a jab to the head, jab to the upper thigh, and so open them up more than you can't for the center. And it's like you pulled that punch off. I've never actually asked you this, but it looked like you pulled that punch off against Roy Jones. That's what got him that first shot, that right hand over the top. It was a little short right hand over the top of the head.
What we did, Fitz, is I woke up. Remember, this H, I woke up one night and went, fuck, this cut. Check out, we put a video. I said, every time he gets on the corner, on the ropes, he does this. And he does this with he's an orthodox fighter like that, but he would, on the ropes, and he would do that. He'd put the right hand forward and he'd pour, and then he'd do that little cheeky carry, pop over the top, shock him, and then big left hook. Or he'd do that, and then he just let a hook. So I went, I want to touch that hand there. I want to touch that hand, his right hand. I want to get his brain thinking what this hand's doing, and then get his attention up here, and then jab him hard to the body. And when he jabbed him, H and I identified that he would always left hook off a jab to the body roughly on the ropes. So jab the body, pull back, and then when Roy would set, he'd go jab, he'd hook, and then he'd put his hand there, and he'd take about a second before he'd do this and cover right up. So he got a bit late, go jab the body, pull off the hook, come over the top, bang. And when we're in Biloxi, remember what I said about his head? H, what did I say about Roy Jones' head when we met him in person?
Yeah, it's small, like a pencil head.
Tiny.
And the side of his skull, I could see all the veins, all the blue.
Yeah, you said that too, yeah.
I said, I want to crush that like a rice bubble. That's thin, man. I'll crack that. I don't want to hit him here. I want to hit him here. And that's what we aim for, Fitz. And we tried that. How many times we do it in the gym against Ice and Said, mate. It was amazing. We're the best sparring partners too, mate.
You know, one thing what Dan said, those sparring partners, we said to them, and this is why when you're at the top level, you've got to pay sparring partners. And we said, listen, we'll give you a bit extra, Dan said. And I said to him, mate, but Danny, what he's going to do, pull your hands down, elbow you, hit you high, hit you low. He's going to get you in the corner and then he's going to go to work finishing you. And exactly what he did to Roy Jones, Danny did to the sparring partners. It was brutal. They never complained once. They were happy about it. But he practiced that finish in that corner time and time again.
Yeah, it's you did show a lot of composure, especially after you dropped him. You should have been stopped about 10 punches before, but I think the referee was even stunned, not knowing what to do, because mate, the whole fucking place went. It went crazy, but went silent. And I was like, what the fuck? What are we seeing? Because no one was expecting, bar like you said, a handful of people for that to happen. And even at that level in the first round, I'll claim that I was the only person that believed it would happen in the first round, but I'll take that. But bar me getting excited, mate, everyone was in shock, in major shock. Mate, you've pulled off one of the greatest upsets in Australian sporting history. And then a couple of fights later, you fought Briggs. All right, now we've had this conversation before. Yeah, you've clarified. You right, H?
Yeah. Am I on picture here?
Yeah, you are, mate.
Put your nuts back in your knees, mate.
I need to get naked. I need to get naked.
Do you know how many days, Fid? Just quickly, I'm doing an interview. How many times this happened? I don't know. He got big church bells for nutsack. Anyway, he's pulled them out all the time. He called them the peaches. Anyway, I'm doing a live interview on Channel 7 on Sports Sunday years ago.
Black peaches.
And there's a building, so the building's like that, the gym, and the camera's there, I'm sitting here, and he's over there, and they can't see him because he's just around the corner a bit. And I'm doing that, and we're talking, and I know this bloke, we know each other that well, that his whistle can be almost only a fucking Kelpie can hear it. It's like this. Just a
bozo whistle.
Just a little, just tiny little thing, and I know that I look over. So I'm sitting there doing the interview, answering questions, and I look over, and there he is, just sitting there like, and he's pulled his nutsack out of the zipper, so it's and he zipped it up tight so the big balls hanging out. And I'm trying to keep a straight face. It's fucking live.
Mate, H is the best person to go away with. Never a fucking, always a laugh with H. Fucking no shame at all. But about this one, the second Mundine fight. All right, you've had your second fight. You've done what you wanted to do. So you've beaten Chalk. Mate, I was there front row, sitting there watching. I watched you go down. I watched you get hurt on the break. Mate, look, Chalk fought a good fight. I picked the scorecards. Pete Matrevsky behind me, actually. He asked me, what do you reckon? And I said, I can't remember what the scores were. 116, 112 or 115, 113, I think I said. And that's what the scorecards come back what I was saying. You deserve that win. Mate, why? Again, we know why. I know personally why. Tell the viewers why you didn't have the third fight, that trilogy. And, you know, how much the mental, your mental fitness or your brain means for your future, in the sense that I know you've given up drinking. We've laughed about this, and I've jumped about 55 questions, to be honest. But I want to get to the important part.
Carried on with the big thing, mate, but it was...
No, it's fine, and that's the most important thing. And I can always have you on again, but these are important things, all right? Very important topics. Because I'm like you, all right? Brain trauma is a major issue in our sport. I love boxing, but I believe that the commission doesn't do enough to stop fighters from keep fighting. People go too long sometimes. I mentioned to Jamie Tahuna yesterday about yourself and how you're one of the lucky ones that was smart enough to. I still thought you had a trilogy in you with Mundine, but I'm happy that you didn't do it, because I know where your head's at right now. Giving up drinking. How important is your mental health? And moving into the next 10, 20 years, obviously bringing up your kids. And H, what do you see? And be honest here. Do you see any kind of decline in Green? Because I don't personally see it. He's the same bloke he was 10 or 12 years ago. Do you see that boxing is attributed to any type of mental decline? Because his last couple of fights, he's had some walls. The Tava fight was very hard to watch. I was ringside. I was in the fucking corner when Velachik dropped him. I was in that corner. I was walking past when he got dropped on the ropes. Mate, you've had some...
Send the dry cleaning bill for your white shirt, mate, to me, buddy.
You had him gone. You win the fight, and he got you with a beautiful... I think your nose bled, and you couldn't breathe, and you couldn't move, and he got you. I think it was a straight pedal. And he got you with a fucking clean shot. I remember it was right in front of me. I freaked.
What, did he break your nose and your cheekbone or your jaw or something? Was it?
Broke my cheekbone, but he broke my nose in round 9 real bad, like proper broke it. Like, it wasn't just bleeding; it was a broken nose. And I was gargling and couldn't swallow, couldn't breathe, because my nose and my airway, both airways through my nose and my throat were clogged with a lot of blood. So I was coughing and spluttering. So my engine just slowed down. Mate,
there was a lot of blood. You're spitting out big chunks and pieces of blood. You couldn't breathe in the corner.
But mate, he was a world champion, and he was classy enough to wait his time, and he wore me down, and he got me, and he was being dominated, but he was still classy enough to land that knockout shot, mate. So all credit to him.
Yeah, no, it was a good win to him, and that's the troubles you had at that division. Like, they were monsters, and you're the only person in my life I've met that loses weight when you're trying to make weight. These motherfuckers are coming down from 100, 105 kilo. You're coming from 87, trying to get to 89. It was always going to be an uphill battle trying to fight these superb athletes. They're just fucking monsters. But like I said, going back to what I was saying about the head trauma, you've given up drinking. Me and you laugh about this, and I get upset sometimes because I get half pissed and you're not there anymore. We're good drinking partners. You don't drink anymore for the last maybe 10 months, or nearly a year now. How long has it been, Greeny?
Nearly a year, mate.
All right, so main reason for this when we speak is because of the possible effect it might have on you due to your fights in the ring, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. H has been telling me for years to give up. He never H and I used to, get on and have a great time. And this, between the three of us, we've had some good times. And equally, you guys, very, very, Very similar blokes to have a beer with, just all laughs, all nothing's a problem, and it never wants to end. You never want it to end because it's just so much fun. But everything's got to come to an end. So H has been on my case for many years to give up the grog. He goes, mate, if you're going to keep drinking, if you're not fighting because you're worried about head injuries, well, what are you drinking for? Stop fucking drinking, you idiot. So it took me a long time, mate, because I love my beer and I was in a bit of a rut. It was too easy because I train and keep fit physically. You don't look like you're a pisshead, but I was always drinking. I was drinking too much beer and it became too easy. And I kept listening to H, plugging away, and then I realised, and my family. The main thing was my family. I was, my wife, my kids. I was not doing them many favours by being pissed and not productive. So I had to try and make sure I wasn't too late to set a better example for the kids. So anyway, I'm not a saint, and I'm not going to profess to be one. But I gave up the beer, and it was for the reason because I've taken a lot of punishment. Like I've been in the fight game since I was 13. Like punching head for men since I was a kid at the age of 13. So it does wear you down. And I think I've been with him a long time. I will pay the fiddler down the track. There's no two ways about it. Every person who has a long fighting career will pay the fiddler one time or another at the end of their life. Depends how long it takes that to set in. But if I give up the drinking, that's going to give me a better chance at prolonging that damage. And that's the way it is, mate. That's anyone who says, "Oh, you'll be okay." I don't think they're actually, they're not willing to face the facts. I'm willing to face the facts. I'm going to pay the price. That's the dice I roll, and that's life, mate. That's the way it is. And it's just how it is, buddy. And for me, the trilogy with Choc, I waited 10 years, and Choc will disagree and he'll say all these things, but just quickly, there's the scorecards of the fight. There you go. The other fight. Compy box numbers. People saying that, it was a close fight. I threw almost double the punch and outlanded by 20-30% in power punches and punches overall. Numbers don't lie. So for me, it was a great way to go out on a victory against a domestic rival. Choc fights better opponents internationally, but to domestically in Australia, it was a big deal. And Choc and I, Choc and I don't see eye to eye. I don't hate the bloke at all. And for me, I have a lot of respect for the bloke, and I'm sure he has respect for me because our careers were so intertwined from a very early part of our career, and it made both of our careers a lot more enjoyable and a lot more illustrious and a lot bigger because of that thing. So I have a lot of respect for the bloke because if he wasn't there, I don't know whether my career would have been as big in Australia. And for that, I hold a bit of antipathy towards the bloke. I don't know. Fighter, he's a hell of a competitor. He's a world champion. So, and a premier rugby league is a phenomenal athlete. All I know is I'm a better fighter.
Mate, you had a funny relationship, you and Choc. You saw it at the celebrity, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here at the jungle, right? There's a bit of animosity, but there's this respect, all right? If you watch the X-Men, they have Dr. X and Magneto, they're arch enemies, but they got this mutual respect and friendship. Is there, away from the cameras, is there like that mutual respect friendship? Like, yeah, all right, you fucking hate him because he's beat you and you beat him and you've been barbing for fucking 15 years. But is there this like, nah, he's all good, he's a good bloke, is there a friendship away from the camera or not?
Nothing. No, absolutely not.
Not one thing?
No, we don't speak, we don't communicate, we don't get on. I never see him. I don't dislike him. In fact, the last thing he said when he left the jungle was, I've got to get out of here because he missed his kids and stuff. But he also said, and plus I'm probably going to start to like this bloke, pointing at me, So
yeah, I heard that too.
there's that, man. I have a lot of respect for all fighters, but in particular, I have a lot of respect for him because he is such a good fighter. I like watching the guy fight. I like his style. His style was unreal. His shots were clean. He got a beautiful style. I like the bloke watching him fight.
He's a freak of nature athlete. There's not many like him.
Yeah, fucking great athlete. You got to respect that. And begrudgingly, I think it's not even begrudgingly. I know the bloke doesn't hate me. I don't hate him. He'll go to his grave saying he's a better fighter than me, and I'll go to my grave knowing and saying that I'm a better fighter than him. Where we got that. That's where we got that, and that's we're both competitive blokes, and that's why we both were successful in our career. And so the respect is always going to be there for each other, mate.
I think he's a beauty. Bids, I love Chop. I reckon he's a real classic. I like him a lot. And his family are beautiful too, mate. His dad, great people,
Man's
mate.
a legend, mate. His old man's a champion, and his
mother's lovely, good man. He's done so much for boxing in this country. Everything that he's done, says a few controversial things, but mate, he really, like helped green his career, helped his own, helped the whole sport.
No, he's done well for the sport, regardless of what you think of him and what he says and how he acts. The sport's in the way it is in the last 20 years because of Chop, single-handedly.
And don't forget too, mate, Coda Nass's got a big part to play in that.
Like, Coda's probably got more of a part to play in that. Like, no one that knows, if you don't know Coda Nassa, you don't know who to, like, I say this respectfully, he's not a puppet master, but, I'm not calling Choc a puppet, but fucking Coda's an idiot savant genius. Like, he's just one of these guys that comes off so weird, but he's so fucking smart. I've learned so much from the bloke.
Too.
Oh, unbelievable. Bloke, and he's one of the genuine men of his word. Like, if he says, 100%. This is what we're doing, this is what we're fucking doing. He would never go and do the wrong thing by you.
You can shake hands with him, mate, and it's done.
Done. It's contract. Signed. It's signed.
To give you an indication of the type of bloke Coda is, two of the biggest fights in Australian boxing history, two of the three biggest, myself and Choc the first one, and then myself and Choc the rematch, that was number one and number three, the highest pay-per-views of all time. Me and Roy was second. Justin, myself, and Coda did both of those deals on a handshake. No contract. No TV contract.
Believable. It's believable. I believe it.
That's the kind of guy that Coda is. And he, with all respect, Choc was, great at generating publicity, and he helped elevate the profile of boxing immensely in the last 20 years. That's why guys like, the young guns coming through now are able to have that profile of boxing, because it goes up and down. But Choc and I helped bring it right up. But Choc was really part of it. But Coda Nassa, as you said, Fids, was instrumental in that. And he's such a quiet. He don't want to be on TV. He don't want to be on TV. He just wants to see people. He wants to see people prosper. He wants to see the sport prosper, and he's done that, mate. He's, unfortunately, he doesn't get credit, but we all know who the credit should be given to. And also Justin Malocas as well. Molly was
unbelievable. Yeah.
On the other half of the equation, Justin was that part of the equation for me and my side of the team, and it was an amazing run. So Molly and Coda, as managers of boxers in this country, or promoters of boxing in this country, I don't think there's been two better ones that done it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Molly's what you just said. He's a quiet achiever. No one, if you don't know him personally, you wouldn't know what he's done. And he's so fucking quiet and composed, and just gets the shit done. He's always been great.
When he's drinking or not drinking, you couldn't say that when he's.
I've only been on the drink with him a couple of times. It's been pretty good, to be honest.
He must have been behaving, mate, because he's
behaving. He let me be the loud wog that night, I reckon. Mate, look, we're going to wrap it up. But H, thanks, buddy. Good seeing you. Fucking, you haven't changed one bit.
Good to see you turn the light on. We can see your face now, mate.
Oh yeah.
He looks like
a mad double chin.
He looks like the little thing out of Happy. I call him Happy Feet. The little penguin out of Happy Feet. Look at him, he cute little guy.
Laying down. Mate, I'm on the ground. My back's killing me.
Make sure we got the Maloney's on this. We got the Maloney's, soon.
It's spinal.
Make sure we get the Maloney's on soon. All right, H.
What's that? Yeah, anytime you want, mate. They'd love it.
All right. Two little champions coming up. So, H, good talking to you, buddy. My back.
My back, it's spinal.
Yes.
See you later.
Hey, just quickly. What do you call a chicken with a tomato and a lettuce on the end of its beak?
What?
Chicken Caesar salad.
You're a dickhead. H, I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
See you, boys. Bye.
Right.
Come on, mate. That was a good joke.
Ready? That was awful. Mate, I got one question from a viewer, because the other ones we have time for.
Yep.
That question is from Antonio. He's a big supporter from Victoria.
Yep.
What do you think? We talked about this before, about about the COVID-19, the coronavirus. What do you think this has done to professional sports, and what do you reckon it'll look like in the aftermath of this crisis? Will it or ever be the same, or can it be saved? What do you reckon?
Jeez, I don't know, Antonio. It's a good question, buddy. It's above my pay grade, mate. So I don't know, mate. I think the whole world's changed. Nothing is ever going to be the same ever again with anything in any industry, I don't think. And I don't know what's going to happen. I think we're just, unfortunately, we're just scratching the surface of what's going on with this thing.
Them's it. Yeah.
Everyone's an expert, but it's full on and it's real and it's happening. And hopefully we get to look back in 50 years' time and go, well, 50, well, it won't be me, but in 20 years' time, we lived through that. And in 100 years' time, our grandkids and great-grandkids will be going, wow, imagine what it would have been like back then at that time. It would have been crazy. Could you imagine it? So we're going through it, and it's pretty surreal. So I don't know, mate. Sports is changed dramatically. I mean, there's nothing on, and I really don't know the answer, but it's a really good question, Antonio.
Yeah. Oh,
Fitz?
What do I reckon? I reckon, mate, as you know now, I'm a big sports fan, right? So there's nothing on TV. Mate, to a viewer, to a person, like a man that watches sports, from a man that watches sports as well, we need sport. It's so important. It's integral to our lives. It's something about, mate, again, women love it too. I train women. I got all daughters. I live in a house full of women. But men have this thing, it must be something to do with testosterone, about competition. Let it be you're playing yourself or watching or supporting. We need this in our lives. I think that the sport will stay exactly the same as what it was, if not thrive a little, because we are all going to learn from what we're experiencing right now. Like you said, in 20 years' time, we'll all look back and go, wow, we got through fucking something crazy. That was unheard of. It hasn't been heard of since the war. None of us were alive back then. Very few people in the world were alive back then. We're experiencing it right now. We're very lucky that we've got this technology that we can, this is why I'm doing the lockdown. I'm stuck in my fucking house. I get to go out 1 hour a day to train. I'm on Skype talking to my friend that's 5,000 k's away. Imagine 1918 or during the war, either the Spanish flu epidemic or during the war, World War II or World War I. They didn't have all this technology. What the fuck did you do? Sit in the house all day, not leaving your house? So we're lucky. We are very lucky.
They was full on, mate, and they weren't given the warnings. They didn't know, so they were just like, they were flying blind, the poor people. We know everything. We all know every second of every minute it gets updated and it just keeps changing and evolving. Yet people, like those scenes today at Manly Beach, people just aren't getting it and they're not respecting. So for me, people who go and do these things and go out there and think, oh, it won't be me, the old Aussie, not just Australia, but the old Aussie, culture of, it won't be, she'll be right, it won't happen to me.
She'll be right, yeah.
Ogie thing. They're not having any respect for you and I who are doing the right thing, because they're putting all of us at risk. So every person who spreads it, he goes, bop, 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 and then we're all at risk. So these people
clusters quick.
It's very disrespectful, really, and there's going to be a lot of people. I just urge people to stay cool, stay calm. But it's also hard when you get these fools that are doing it and don't care about. They're basically giving the finger to me and you and everyone in society and saying, "I'll do what I want. I don't have to listen to the medical experts around the world that are imploring us to stay inside and not go out with people and be in groups." They just don't give a rat's ass. It's not fair.
Yeah, it's but like I said before, follow it or believe it or whatever it is, or don't believe it. Rules are fucking rules. Stop putting us in fucking the shit, because I don't want to be stuck in my house for 12 months. 3 months, understandable. 6 months if we have to. 12 months is because there's fuckwits out there that don't give a fuck about us, that are making it fuck up for everyone else. Mate, lastly, again, I'm going to have you back on again in a couple of weeks, I reckon, because there's about 1,000 questions we missed. But the 1 minute wonder, all right? So I'm going to ask you questions. You give me a quick answer, all right? Quick answer, first thing that comes to your mind.
Have you ever seen me give a quick answer ever?
Always. Yes. No. Especially when you're pissed. Best fighter you fought against?
James Toney, Roy Jones, and Christopher Dacic. Roy Jones.
Roy Jones. You didn't fight James Toney, did you? No.
Sparred him, it was a fight in the gym.
Oh, okay, we'll take that. We'll take that. I've seen the video. Fuck, he talks shit. The fucking pissed me off to watch that video. Oh, I would have smacked him. Best fighter you sparred with? Oh, there you go, James Toney.
James Toney. Probably the other one. The other one would have probably Andres Fonfara from Poland, who was my sparring partner for Wlodarczyk. He was WBO light heavyweight world champion. Very, very good fighter, mate.
Oh, cool. Toughest fighter you fought against? Dominguez?
Oh, mate, he took a pasting, eh? Whew. He took a house head. Yeah, Dominguez definitely one of the toughest. Jalal, man, he needs staples to shut his eye, to shut this thing, not stitches, big staples. His nose was over here, and his couple of his ribs were busted as well. And he just kept feeding it to me all night until the ref said, "Hey, that's enough." He's a tough guy, mate. There's just been Wlodarczyk was a tough guy. Shane Cameron, mate. There's been a lot of pretty hard dudes, a lot of tough guys, mate. I mean,
the fighter you're happy you never fought.
There's a long list, mate.
Who's the one? Who's the one that you go, fuck, I don't want to fight that prick? Mate, me and you spoke about years ago. We spoke about Klitschko, and you're like, I'll fight the cunt. I don't give a fuck. But so I know that you'll fight anyone. If it comes down to you would have fought anyone. But was there anyone that you just wish you never fought?
If I was a heavyweight, Mike Tyson would have been terrifying.
Oh, it would have been terrifying. Yeah, you're right.
And my favourite, Roberto Duran.
Oh, sick fighter. Sick fighter.
He's defensive as well as offensive, and he's so cute and so cheeky and so tricky. But his fundamentals and his defence and everything. Oh man, he's the best.
He's a great fighter. Best pound for pound fighter in the world and in Australia right now.
In Australia and the world, so mix it up.
Yeah.
In Australia right now, pound for pound, and people are going to go, "Oh, he's just thinking saying it." Andrew Maloney.
You have to say that. Yeah, you're
he's
right.
The WBA world.
It's right. Yeah, he deserves it. He deserves that. He deserves that call.
The only current world champion, mate. He's the WBA fight world champion. But also, I look at his resume and his pedigree and who he's fought and beaten. And they're very good fighters, mate. And then I guess I don't know, close. Who's behind that? There's a pretty tight bunch behind that. There's a couple of guys. Probably obviously Jeff Horn will be the next. I'd say pound for pound would be better just because he's got that recognition. He's he's a pay-per-view fighter. He's a tough guy, and everyone loves watching him fight. And he's just a beast. He just fight. His heart's unfortunately for later in life. Hopefully he's going to be okay because his heart's massive, man. Got a great chin. So I like watching Jeff Horn throw down too, mate. Tim Maloney.
Best pound for pound in the world.
At the moment, best pound for pound in the world. It's got to be Fury.
I love Fury. I fucking love him. Yeah.
And what better guy? What his ring entrance, getting smoking all the chicks to carry him into the ring, and blowing kisses on the way out to people, and then he wins this amazing fight. Just towels him up, does what he said he's going to do, and then pays respects to Wilder, and then brings everyone
sings a song
on his high. That's the best, mate.
Yeah.
He's the best.
I said before the fight to a good friend, I said, he's the next Muhammad Ali. If he can clean out the division, he will be as great as Ali because he's so beautiful to watch boxing, number one. He's a great boxer. Number two, he has the best attitude since Ali. And he's number three, he's a genuine good bloke. Just a genuine good fucking bloke. He's great for the sport. Doesn't bag the shit out of people. Does his talking in the ring. Shows so much respect to all the fighters.
He's classy. He's very classy.
It's what boxing's been missing for 20 years. Like some bloke just to walk in and go, let's see who talks in the fucking ring. Let's just do it. And well done, you did awesome. But mate, I'm sorry, I won the fight. And he's a fucking great fighter.
When he brought the crowd in, like he's there. He's there getting paid a lot of money, and he's only there because the crowd are there. Like he's a performer, he's a competitor, he's an entertainer. Yeah. But he's only entertaining because he's allowed to, because everyone's paid to see him fight. So what he does is he acknowledges that and brings them all in on his high. Man, he's the best.
Yeah, I like him a lot too. He's my favourite right now by a mile. Most overrated fighter in the world. I won't say Australia because I know you don't like to bag anyone, but most overrated fighter in the world.
Don't really know. It's a hard one, mate. I don't know, mate. I didn't think, I never thought, it's a hard one because people go, but I thought Kovalev was very beatable a lot of the times.
I think too, yeah. I
think he was very beatable. I think he had that aura, but he obviously has very heavy hands. But the thing I like about Kovalev is that he does the basics very well. He's not flashy. He just breaks them down. So I wouldn't say he's overrated. There was a lot of talk about him being the best of the modern era. I've read some stories in Ring Magazine. This guy's going to be the best. I didn't think that was ever going to happen, and it didn't happen. I think he's an incredible fighter, but I think someone with a really good jab, a really strong, good jab that's tall, like the guy that beat him. Who was the guy that beat him last time that he ended up beating back?
So the Colombian, yeah.
But Kovalev, I don't think I shouldn't say he's overrated, mate. There was a lot of hype 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I didn't think it was ever going to match what the hype was. And against Andre Ward, I thought that he kind of gave up.
Yeah. Oh, mate, but Andre Ward does that to people. He's a fucking freak as well.
Yep.
Last question. Who wins? Jeff Horn or Tim Tszyu?
Boxing wins in that one, mate, because it's the fight we want to see.
Talk like a trooper, man. You've changed, mate. You've changed.
What do you reckon?
I pick Tszyu. Only, and mate, I've told you many times, respect out the fucking roof for Jeff Horn. I just think it works. You said it before, works in waves. I talked about the roll-on effect. I think Tim Tszyu's on the rise, and I think Jeff's on the lower down. I think Jeff's had all the fights, all those wars, and it's going to accumulate against such a sharp opponent. Tim's just very sharp. He's very, very, very sharp. If he can get his back foot going a little bit more, I just don't think that. I think Tim will be too classy for him on that day, only because of his decline compared to Tszyu's ascent. That's the only reason why. And you just said it. Boxing is the winner. It's a great fucking fight. And any fight where people dispute who's going to be the champion or who's going to win is a great fight for boxing. All right? It's what we need more of, and well done. I hope they get the fight off. I hope Jeff doesn't. It was April Fool's Day. He put up that he's retiring, but mate, I hope the fight happens for not just the fighters, but for the game of boxing in Australia, because it's a great fucking fight.
It'll happen, mate. It'll definitely happen because it's a good fight and people will want to see it. I think Tim's is made a couple of times. I saw him when he fought. Saw him fight live in Sydney when he fought. I think he fought Dwight Ritchie. Fight, and mate, he showed flashes of his old man. Every now and then, it's like, oh, far out, I'm watching Costa, but he's not the same fighter as old man. Tim Tszyu's Tim Tszyu. He fights his way. And I really like watching him fight. I think he's growing. I think he's got a long way to go to get to the best.
Yes.
But Jeff Horn, I really like watching the kid fight, and he's a really good young bloke, mate, which is great for the sport of boxing. Jeff Horn, I think Jeff's either going to eat Tim up, or Tim's going to go, right here, I've gone from this level. Like I did when I fought Bayer. I went from that level after Dalal. I stepped up a new level without even knowing. You just step up. A fighter steps up if they're going to ever do it. I think this is a fight where Tim will need to step up, and he'll do it. And if he does it, I think he can outbox Jeff convincingly, or Jeff will eat him up.
Yeah, it's great for boxing. Great for boxing. Still, Greeny, mate, we're going to have a second interview again because I've missed 50 questions. Brian, thanks for your time.
Anytime, mate. Anytime, buddy.
I love your fucking outfits. And we've missed about 50 stories. There's some better stories than what we got told. Mate, cheers again. I appreciate your time, and mate, and the listeners will be very happy with this because it's a very informative, very informative chat, man. So thanks a lot, eh?
Appreciate having me on, Fids, and everyone out there, mate. Stay safe, look after yourself, and just follow the rules, man. Just do what we need to do to get through this, and I hope everyone gets through it on the other side. And I'll see you on the flip side in Fonzie, mate. for you personally, mate, for the sport of boxing. You've been a breath of fresh air over the last 10, 15 years, mate. So thanks to you from a fighter and a promoter for being a part of that renaissance in the sport in the last 10, 15 years, legend.
Hey! See you, Fonz. Talk to you soon, mate.